I want to know what problem exactly do you have with Nigerians, you in particular?
Haibo. Wait,
Mr. Grant, thank you very much for
My South African brothers and sisters cry because you people have come into our country. They are selling powder. They are sex trafficking our children. They just involved in a whole lot of nonsense. There's fraud that's happening. There's identity fraud. There's just so much. People rent their houses to you and you damage people's homes because you want to stay there for free. The minute you are told that it's time to move out, you start damaging people's property. Like learning curve, kuningi, my brother. Don't even try and ask me those questions. And I haven't even gotten to most of them, but there's a lot.
There's a lot. Okay, if I get your points, you gave the reference to three. You said powder issue, you talked about scam, and you talked about trafficking.
The rest you forgot about.
Are we always repeating the same thing to this guy? Because this guy is
what is all this, Mr. Essay? You're going to talk. I just
brother.
No, but this thing, you already know. You know. The way you travel the TikTok streets, you know exactly. This question is irrelevant because you travel the TikTok streets and you discuss this thing all the time. You are a traveler. You're forgetting that you're a traveler even on TikTok. You travel every street of TikTok and you discussing the same thing. So why are you coming here and asking that stupid question with the amount of travelment that you do?
You will have your turn. Relax. The reason why
don't tell me to relax when
problem solver is the same guy. Problem solver, learning curve is the same person.
It's the same person.
I say relax, even if it is relaxed. The reason why
I'm too relaxed. Where I am, I'm cruising nicely.
We don't know why he's whispering, Aura. You know this person.
Why do you whisper?
He thinks he's gonna be whispering sweet nothing. This one.
Do you want to be a bride? Do you want to be a bride? Why do you whisper? Like speak like a man.
Could you keep quiet? Now listen, the reason why I asked though.
Hey, Lenny, come back a different day, my brother. Like my ears are so sore listening to that voice of yours. Leon, you can go ahead.
Now Leon, we problem, Jingo.
The guy is very, I won't say the guy is very irritating. Always coming here to like prove a point. You don't need to mind South Africa. Leave them alone. You don't have to come here try to prove a point. Whatever they are saying, they are correct. But no, let them do their things. You don't have to come every day on live, start talking about Nigeria. So whatever you feel like talk, but Ben, we are agreed.
Oh, shame, Leon. Thank you. Or would you like a dummy? Would you like a pacifier to suck on?
Go and flash it in the parties. We know the behaviors of you guys when you want to always want to appear to be rich.
And then a month later, when the powder money is finished, then they back on the streets hustling. That's the type of life that they're accustomed to. Whereas our men, South African men and women, but mostly our men, they get up, they dress snazzy, looking sexy, reporting for duty, you idiot, earning millions of rands per annum, which is something that you'd never be able to earn in Nigeria as it stands. Even when you leave Nigeria to go and work in Europe, you're going to wash white people's asses there. We know what you guys go and do there. So you won't even be able to earn that money even in Europe. So don't come here and talk shit to us.
Okay, let me say something. I heard in case
you heard nothing.
He wanted to
coming here wearing.
No, he's coming here. He thinks that we're in the mood to banter with them. They just want to be jesting and bantering with us.
They are forgetting what they are wearing curtains. They are wearing curtains in shiny fabric and two-piece.
Is he attracted to men? Just a question.
I've got no idea.
South African, when you go to Nigeria, actually, you'll become rich, way richer, because of the currency of South Africa. And there's no
You
flexibility.
never know. You never know if he's attracted to men because they have sharp palms. These ones, they always been
because this man got triggered when the host mentioned that South African men are good looking. He got triggered. So I'm thinking, he was trying to say no. Is he attracted to men? Because that's what it tells me.
If a woman also Benakel there. The Bena is it Benakel? Yeah.
Benakel.
Exactly. If a woman says that the other guy is good looking, and
because the gentleman was
no,
actually begging to be in America to be featured. So he had to go sacrifice some things there. Behind
what I was talking
behind the closet, behind.
They have a bruised ego, Yeah, they have a bruised ego.
They all have sharp palms and they're wearing curtains and shiny flip-flops with ashy feet.
What do you mean? What do you mean by short palms? Can you clarify that? What do you mean?
Sharp.
What do you mean by that?
Sharp.
What does it mean? What does it
to
mean though?
Libya and Morocco, and then they shove. You know what they do to you. So before they send you over to, when you're trying to
my
brother, I'll tell you something. We have to be educated.
Hi guys, hi people. Can I just say something quickly?
Arua, have you seen how big these people's knees are?
Oil and the
oil. They were making it big. They were taking him through tunnels in the US and they were bending that sharp ass of him.
What I just noticed is that these people are so sensitive. They are like so quick to throw insults, but they are so sensitive. You say one thing and then they're so sensitive, so emotional.
We are not sensitive. We are not sensitive. I just wanted to.
You are very sensitive. Very sensitive.
Okay. I hear you. I've been hearing some delusional jargons here. So Nigerians, we really don't care about you guys. They are not a lot of Nigerians in SA.
You're on this platform trying to defend people you don't care.
He doesn't even know what jargon is, guys.
He doesn't even know what exactly.
He's been hearing a lot of time. We've been speaking English. We were not speaking any language that is related to any specific field, which you can then call jargon, internal jargon. We are speaking English here, my brother. There's no jargon here. Go and learn English again. I don't know what school you went to, Slim and Dean.
They want us to speak pidgin.
For the development of the whole of Africa, and it makes me sad, in all honesty. It makes me sad because, I always say, if Nigeria were to develop and become the greatest country that it can become, it is good for the whole of Africa, considering that they obviously have a bigger population, and if they are up to mischief, that's why we are likely to feel it, as various South African countries. But imagine if Nigerians were doing good in Africa, in their own country. I mean, Africa would be a good place for all of us. Unfortunately, when you're in a country that's full of shysters, scammers and all that, and now when Identity was asking about the issue of AKA, but I mean, he knows in his country how many leaders have been assassinated or unalived. I don't know if assassinated will work. Murtala Muhammad is one of them. I mean, we've never had such in our country. Except Hani, of course, he was a leader, not a leader in government. So I just wish the best for Nigeria, because truly speaking, that would unburden us the problem that you are having. And right now, someone now is telling us that most of the people driving Lamborghinis in Cape Town are Nigerians and all that. We've seen that and we know that. You are not driving them in Nigeria because you know why. That's the kind of chicken mindset that we are having in Africa. For instance, somebody once showed us, actually I once saw a photo of Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook wearing a sponsored t-shirt, a cheap t-shirt of probably $20 and all that. Then they showed someone like, I think it was Rick Ross or whoever, wearing many chains on the neck. And he said, and the caption said, their aim is to be rich, not to look rich. You see, that's the mindset you are having in South Africa. That's why during the week I said, black monopoly capital is as bad as white monopoly capital. The reason being, both of them don't transform societies. It doesn't matter whether Ramaphosa or Motsepe have 20 companies or they participate in different sectors and all that. For as long as there are still people who go to bed on hungry stomachs, we still have more and more squatter camps expanding, in our country and all that. That's exactly the thinking of the thieves that have been ruling Nigeria from time immemorial. I think the better leaders they had were those like that Balewa, in the 60s. Then Namdi Azikiwe, I think those were the better leaders that they had. But afterwards, they've been having a lot of fakes, and because they are not taking responsibility for their destiny, they've allowed that, and now it has permeated the grassroots in society. Which is why now Nigeria cannot be the country that produces, scammers, shysters, traffickers, and all types of things, and even having those terrorist groups coming, happening, the kidnapping of girls and all that, and some of those uncivilized practices as well. As some of you have mentioned that, marrying young girls, baby factories and all that. And I'm surprised that in the whole of Africa, no one is saying much about it. Africans rising up against it the same way they rise against what they call Zeno in South Africa. That's what I don't understand about Africans. The hypocrisy to be saying they monitor everything. They monitor everything that South Africans are doing, even though we are the last born of the family, because people feel entitled. I think it's the envy. That envy is not coming from Nigerians only. It comes from various other countries as well. But the things that are happening, look at the issue of Sudan currently. We don't hear much from African countries or even Africans, even in various other spaces. You'll never hear much about it. The issue of Mozambique, they are mising it as if it doesn't exist. They don't even care. I don't care how much of Pan-Africanist they claim to be, but they don't give a damn about Mozambique and what's happening in Cabo Delgado. They had an issue with Cameroon some years ago, where women and children were being unalived and all that, and we couldn't hear much. That ECOWAS, the only time I saw ECOWAS being active was when they were threatening Yahya Jammeh in Gambia, when he didn't want to relinquish power and all that. You see there, they set him straight. He had to relinquish power. But any other things that are happening, okay, recently they wanted to buy the face of Muzungu. When our young hero Traore and the Mali guy and Niger guys took over government, they had to get rid of those fools in those various other countries because they were useless. They were not serving the interests of the people. So I'm just saying, as I said, that I come in peace. I wish Nigerians can realize the power you have, guys, and the resources you have in your country to be able to solve your own problems without going to other countries and bragging about petty things such as a Lamborghini. A Lamborghini is useless. Learn from SADC. The only country disgracing us in SADC is Zimbabwe. Ugandans don't have much, but they love their country. They stay in their country. They make do with the little they have. And I'm aware of those that are in Canada and various other places who are skilled. You look at Botswana, Namibia and all that. And I guess that's why SADC is the most stable country. We may be having, of course, some of the slow learners and failures like Malawi. But generally, I think there's a lot to learn from SADC, because even with Malawians, I still believe majority of them still stay in their country. And don't come and talk about percentages that only 1% of Nigerians are all over the world. 1% of 200 and something million is a lot of people. You deserve to be in Nigeria. And I'm also asking myself, don't you think your inability to do family planning is not contributing to straining the resources in Nigeria and by extension in other countries that you are migrating to as well? Don't you think what China did in the past, where they limited birth rate per family to 1 or 2 kids, would it not help you? Is it advantageous to have lots and lots of people in a country where there's disease, the health system is not able to cope with that kind of birth rate. The economic growth is not supporting the birth rate. You know, the infrastructure is not able to cope with that, because now it looks like South Africans are being fun, are being nasty when they tell you about some of the things, sinkholes and other things we are seeing in Lagos, you know, puddles of water in the CBD, that lack of development. Don't you think this big population, I know some of you are bragging about the fact that you want to multiply and all that. I mean, that's sort of the caveman mentality. Don't you think that bigger population is your undoing? It's a hindrance towards the development of Nigeria, because obviously your money doesn't have power. Your economy is not that big, and it's impacting on the government's ability to be able to introduce the kind of development that is required to make sure that the citizens live comfortably. Because I don't think you can be 200 million living in a small place and claim to live comfortably. I don't think that's how it works. So I beg you, my Nigerian brothers and sisters, please do better. Nigeria is waiting for you. Make the right decisions that do not impact other countries negatively. Thank you.